Hello viewers, I'm your host Ian Otieno, welcoming you to yet another episode of the Daily Drive Show. Today we have a very interesting car that has not yet gained popularity in the Kenyan market, and we are here to dissect into it and look at all the good things that come with it. So the car that you're going to dive into today is the 2018 Mazda Cx8. Yes, the Mazda Cx8. Not the Cx5, not the Cx9. This is the Cx8. And it was first produced in the year 2017 by Mazda Motor Corporation. And it has been in production and it has been accepted well in the automotive industry. So this car was first produced in the year 2018 and it lies in between the Mazda Cx5 and the Mazda Cx9, and we will see later that its selling point is the 7 seats that come in this car. This car is a 7-seater and it is slightly bigger than the Cx5 and has a wheelbase that is bigger than the Cx5 and almost the Cx9's wheelbase. So join me as we dive into this review. We are going to start by looking at the front profile of the Mazda Cx8, and the view that you have when you look at the car from the front here, you might think that it's a Cx5 and you are wrong. So what will make you know that this car is a Cx8 is the grille over here. The grille has these lines that go horizontally like that, and the Cx5 on the grille here, it has a honeycomb grille. And so when we start looking at this car from the top there, you can see the windshield has a camera that is used for the radar guided cruise control, and this car is packed with a lot of technology, being that it is a 2018 variant. You will also see that at the front there, it has the electronic device that controls the heads-up display for the car. What is the heads-up display? The heads-up display is a technology that displays information about your car on the windshield, so you will not have to always put your eyes on the digital cluster inside the car. So when you go down over here, you find that this car has a very wide hood. Since it is the Cx8, it has a wide hood. The hood is very wide. It is kind of like the same size as the Cx9, and it has headlights over here, and this headlight is very expensive if you ask me. These are headlights that if you crash it or if you need a replacement, you will have to top up with an upwards of 100,000 Kenyan shillings just to replace it. So these headlights, they are adaptive headlights in that when you're driving at night and there is a car coming in front of you, the headlight will dampen the high beams to look down so that the person coming in front of you will not be blinded by the bright lights. So this is very technological about that. I commend Mazda about that. And so it also have headlight washers down here, and the headlight washers, they pop out and spray water on the headlights to keep them clean and washed. Apart from that, there are also proximity sensors down here, and they run all the way across like that on the bumper. So this being a base trim of the Mazda Cx8, it doesn't have a fog light down here. There are always other variants of the Mazda Cx8, the top variants, they come with a fog light down here, but this one does not have it. But you can always upgrade and put a fog light down there. So with that being said, let's get into the hood and see what this car has. So under the hood of the Mazda Cx8 is either a gasoline engine or a diesel engine that is 2.2 liter or 2.5 liter. So the 2.2 liter, you have a turbocharger mated to it, and the 2.5 liter, you can also get it in diesel with the turbocharger, or you can get it being naturally aspirated. So mated to this engine is a transmission that is the traditional automatic transmission. So Mazda has not yet adapted the CVT transmissions in their car, which is a very good thing, because the CVT transmission that we have seen in most of the cars being produced nowadays are problematic. So Mazda still has the traditional automatic transmission mated to the engines. And this car can give you a good 15 kilometers to the liter in terms of fuel consumption, and the fuel capacity of this car is an upwards of 70 liters. So with that being said, let's go and look at the side profile of the Mazda Cx8. So coming on to the side profile of this car, the first thing that greets me is the size 19 alloy wheels that come with this car. It comes also with these nice rims that are standard for the Mazda Cx8, and there is this trim that runs all the way around the car that helps to protect the car when you take it through off-roading. But you will notice that this car, people will buy them and they will never take them off-roading. Most of them will use them for town driving. So as we go back onto the side profile of this car, find that it has a side mirror over here with indicator lights on them. Other cars have the side mirror connected to the window over here, but this one is connected to the door. That means that when you're seated at the driver's seat, you will have a good view from your sitting position. This car also comes with handles that pop out when you open the door, and it also comes with a button on the handle over there, such that if you have the key, you don't have to bring out the key and press the buttons. You just have to come and press the button at the door over here, and it will lock or unlock the car depending on how you want them. And when you come to the back door over here, you find that it has a tinted window. These are tinted glass. It doesn't have the tint film, but it's made like this from the factory. So this helps to provide privacy for somebody who is being carried. At the back side over here, this door also opens very wide, as you can see over here. It opens in a 90-degree angle, and it helps to load goods, and it also helps for the passengers to get into the car easily. So when you go at the back side over here, you find that the fuel cap of this car is at the left side compared to other German variants which have the fuel cap on the right side, and this is common with the Japanese vehicles having the fuel cap on the left side. So as I take you to the back profile of this car, you find that this car has a very big ground clearance. Being an SUV, this car has a good ground clearance, meaning that you can take this car even to the countryside without having to worry about, you know, scraping down or this car getting stuck in places that are muddy. So this car also has a tall height over here. I'm around 6 foot tall, and this car is somehow taller than me or the same height. And it also has this windshield with the spoiler perfectly mated to it, and it also has this brake light at the top over here to add on to the features of this car. So it has this light that wants to look like the CX9 lights, and it has a chrome trim that runs all the way, adding on to the touch of beauty of the Mazda Cx8. And this car also comes with some badges over here. This is a Cx8 and it's an all-wheel drive. And one thing that I have to tell you guys is that if you are going to buy a car like a Mazda Cx8, I'd recommend you to go for the all-wheel drive, because this is a big car, and you know, having it in a two-wheel drive variant will make it to be somehow lazy. So the all-wheel drive is the perfect choice if you want to go for the Mazda Cx8. So let me open the boot and show you the space inside this car. So right now I have the third row seats up, and with the third row seats up I have a space of like 206 liters, which I can put some suitcases over here. If you're not carrying passengers in the third row seats, you can fold these seats and you will have more than 700 liters of boot space. Higher variants of the Mazda Cx8 come with the electronic tailgate that you can just open from the key fob, but this being a basic variant of the Mazda Cx8, it doesn't come with that feature, but that's still okay because this car is a very practical car. Let's go and look at the interior of the Mazda Cx8. Welcome to the second segment where we dive into the interior of the Mazda Cx8, and the feeling that I have as I'm seated over here, I feel like I'm sitting inside a Cx5 that is kinda a bit wide, and when I'm seated, the view that I have up front is really nice, and the driver's position that I have as I'm seated inside this car is also good. So the headroom that I get when I'm seated in this car is quite ample, and the legroom is also plenty. So this car has a nice feel on the steering wheel when you touch it, and it has a couple of functionalities just like the Cx5. It has the cruise control button where you can set it to follow the car and maintain the speed of the car that is in front of you. So when you just hold this button over here, you can set the speed and the distance that you want your car to maintain with the car in front of you, and it will make use of the camera that is behind here to look at the road up front and maintain the distance. It will also make use of the proximity sensors at the front, at the side and at the back of the car to ensure that the car is maintaining a safe distance. So you can also use the buttons down here to turn the mode on or off depending on how you want them, and it also has a speech recognition inside here that you can just use these buttons on the steering wheel to turn them off or on, and you can also use them to turn up the volume or to turn down the volume. So it also has a button that you can control the information at the screen here with either taking the track that is playing next or previous. It also has a button down here that you can use to answer your phone call or decline the phone call. So this car over here, at the middle over here, we have a SRS airbag module that deploys whenever your car gets into a crash. And when you go onto the front side of the steering wheel, the dashboard over here, I have 3 clusters. Just like the Cx5, it has 2 analog clusters and 1 digital cluster. It has a cluster that shows the RPM of the car. Since this is a diesel car, the maximum RPM of this car is 6000 RPM, denoted by the number 6, and it goes up to 180 kilometers per hour. And there is 1 digital cluster over here that shows you the amount of fuel remaining and also the kilometers per liter that the car is consuming. And onto the front part of the dashboard over here, we also have the module that controls the heads-up display of the car. And what the heads-up display of the car does is that it displays additional information like your speed and the kilometers per liter that your car is consuming on the screen over here, in such a way that you will not have to always put your eyes on the gauge cluster to see whatever the car is doing. So this car has speakers. It has a very good sound system, by the way. It has speakers here, over there, and at the middle over here, and around the car at the doors, and it has a very good sound system. The higher variants of the Mazda Cx8 comes with a Bose sound system that is even better. And you know, when I touch the dashboard over here, it is not entirely leather. It is kind of a squeegee material that doesn't feel cheap. That thing I must say. So when you go to the middle center console screen over here, this is a screen that is powered by Mazda's infotainment system. And when you look at this screen, it supports Apple CarPlay and it also supports Android Auto. So when you have your Android phone, this car has you catered for, and also for those iPhone users, you are catered for because this screen can support all of that. So down here we have a DVD player for those people who still fancy the discs, but nowadays most people don't use them, but it's still put in place in case you want to use the discs. So this car has a very nice trim over here, this kind of a polished glossy silvery trim over here, and it has the nice finish to them that looks expensive. So we have vents over here. You know, they kind of follow the Mazda Kodo design language that was used to design this car, and they look really nice. One of the things that I must commend inside this car is that for the climate control system down here, they used physical buttons for the climate controls. Many cars that are being produced nowadays, they don't use the physical buttons. Instead, they use a screen. They just put a screen over there, which is not practical. You know, if I'm driving and I want to turn the AC fan speed up or down, if the buttons are analog, I will just do this as I'm driving. But you know, if it's a digital cluster, I'll have to like hold or touch onto the screen, which can deter my concentration. So apart from that, the center console over here has been borrowed from the Cx9, which is really nice. And you know, we have the start stop button over here, and the center console over here has the traditional gear lever that is used to control the transmission down there. So it has the PRND letters that, you know, each letter has a functionality to do, and it also has a manual mode whereby you take it to drive and slap it onto the right, and when you take it now up, it will be deducting the gears, and when you take it down, it will be adding the gears. So apart from that, we also have some functionalities behind here, and the first knob over here is for the volume. You can push it to silence the speakers, and you can also turn it right to increase the volume or left to decrease the volume. We also have a button over here that takes you straight to the music of the car. This one takes you home, and this one opens the map to show you the navigation of the car. This button over here, you can have your favorites. You know, you can have a specific window that you want the car to go to. If you save it, you can just press here and it will take you straight to where you want it to go. We also have a joystick over here that you can use to navigate through the screen over there. You know, you can use it to go left, right. You can use it also to navigate like that as you operate the screen. And this is a button that, you know, you can undo whatever you have done on the screen right there. So this car comes with an automatic handbrake, and you know, when you put it up like that, it activates the handbrake, and when you put it down, it deactivates the handbrake. So one downside of this button over here is that you must always keep your car's battery on check, because it relies on the car's battery to activate and deactivate the handbrake. So we also have an auto hold button over here that when you press and activate it, as your car is maybe on a jam or on a hilly place, the car will hold itself without you having to put your feet on any pedal over there. and when it's on drive and you put the auto hold button and you're on a hilly place, it will hold the car, and when you put your feet on the accelerator, it will move the car. At the moment you lift your foot off the accelerator, the car will keep its position without having to press any button. So this car, apart from these features, it also comes with other features over here. The idling stop button that we have on my right side over here. So when you put the idling stop button, if you're going and you reach a place that has traffic, or a place that has a red traffic light, so when you put your foot on the brake and the car comes to a complete stop, the car will automatically shut off the engine. And the purpose of this is to make the car to use as little fuel as possible. And you'll find out that this car is a Sky Active D engine. So the Mazdas come with the Sky Active technology, and the Sky Active technology is a technology that it makes the car to have maximum performance at the lowest fuel consumption possible. So we also have lane departure assist with this car that you can turn on or off, which makes use of the camera up here. It will look at the lanes, and when you veer off the lane without indicating, it will make a beeping sound inside the car. We also have the traction control system that you can turn on or off. What the traction control does is that it takes the engine power to the wheel that has the most grip, and this makes the car not to slip when you're even driving on a loose surface. So this car has also heated steering wheel, which is good. But in Africa we never fancy such features, because we have very good weather. But you see places like the US or the UK, where it gets very cold, you will need heated steering wheel, so that when you just come out of your house and you get inside the car, you will have to turn this button on, and your steering will be heated and you will be comfortable. We also have the parking assist, which uses the cameras and the sensors around the car to help you to park. And this car also comes with a 360 view cameras that can show you as if the car is being looked on a drone. So those are the features that come with this car, and this car also has some nice leather touches. But this being a base version of this car, it has fabric seats, but they're still comfortable, I must say. If I sit on these seats, they are hugging me well, and I have a proper driver's experience. If you want to buy the specific car that you have seen on the review today, call the number below. See you next time.